Welcome to the Saturday Morning Nerd Show. I'm your host, Marcus Blake, and joining with me, as always, is the brewing sailor, Brendan Smith.
Hey, everybody.
And we've got Mr. Chad Womack from the Electric Jellyfish podcast.
Hey, guys.
And Mr. Jimmy Alford, back from his woodworking convention. Our very own,
What up, nerds?
very own Ron Swanson.
He was working his wood.
Oh, yeah. And at the end of this podcast, y'all need to remind me I need to buy the domain feelbeforeyoubuymywood.com.
Jesus.
Yeah. So don't let me forget.
Rubmyknots.com.
Yeah, the podcast already gone off track. Wow. All right. Well,
Count my rings. Yeah, never mind.
So we have kind of a special show, and after numerous discussions in our private chat and just really tired of complaining about everything that pisses us off in pop culture and in the nerd universe, we wanted to get to topics that really do excite us. The movies that we really love, TV shows, things like that. So today's podcast is us talking about the sci-fi movies that transcended the genre. Not necessarily sequels, but, those iconic sci-fi movies that gave us great stories, might have, turned into sequels, but really changed science fiction entertainment for the better. So we're going to dive into that a little bit later. But before we get there, a few items that we need to get out of the way. Movies that are in the theater, movies that are coming out. If you are a Stephen King fan and you have read the book, The Long Walk, I do absolutely encourage you to go see the movie. It is really good. One of the best Stephen King adaptations. Cooper Hoffman, who is the son of the late great Philip Seymour Hoffman, knocks it out of the park with his performance, as well as with David Johnson. Or Johnson, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. He played Andy in the Alien Romulus movie from last year.
Okay.
And this is the first time, I can't believe we're actually as professional film critics. So this is where Jimmy and I are going to jump into. We're actually going to discuss Mark Hamill for Best Actor or Best Supporting Actor during award season, which I am absolutely thrilled. Now, we haven't seen everything yet. We haven't made our final votes, but I'm telling you, as a nerd, I am very excited to have him in the conversation.
It's very interesting too, just because one of my favorite movies of all time that Mark Hamill was in has nothing to do with Batman and has nothing to do with Star Wars. So I mean, he's always been on my favorites list. But
Yeah.
it is kind of interesting that he's going to how old is he now? He's in his 70s and he's finally in Oscar talks or whatever.
Yeah. I think it's interesting. I mean, how many actors from Star Wars have really been nominated, for Oscars or Harrison Ford has only been nominated once, and that was for Witness, which an incredible movie, and I think he should have won. But
Phil Jones.
Yeah. So Mark Hamill is so versatile, not only as a live action actor, but as a voice actor, that it's hard to believe that it's been this long that we've had that conversation. The only thing that I really worry about is that as great as his performance is, that it will get overshadowed. He'll, get shafted, kind of like Pamela Anderson last year, which I still cry foul that she never even got a nomination for The Last Showgirl. And she is a way better actress than most people give her credit for.
Well, if there were any true justice in this world, we would have had this conversation the year after Jedi if Milos Forman hadn't been a dick.
True.
And we all know this, right?
I know. But
Luke Skywalker will not be playing Mozart in my movie. Screw you.
Yeah. It took a while for me to actually even appreciate Milos Forman after that bullshit and I really liked him as the other priest in that Edward Norton movie with Ben Stiller, Keeping the Faith, which is a very underrated movie by two great actors. But anyway, Mark Hamill is just incredible in this movie, even if he's not there all the time. He, as the, dystopian warlord of a general. Um, and it's just so, like I said, we will definitely be talking about his performance in award season um, more than anything else. But yes, it's out in theaters as of the time of this recording, so definitely go see it. And if you are a Downton Abbey fan, if it's one of your British shows, and I do encourage you to go watch it. Great, phenomenal British cast. Maggie Smith was incredible in that series and in the movies. Then definitely go see the very last movie that wraps up that storyline. It was very well done and very sad to say goodbye to everybody in Downton Abbey. So, but that's what's going on with movies at the time of this podcast. And we are gearing up for the fall, for the big movies in the fall. So Jimmy and I are very excited to go see Tron. We're going to be doing a double review on that. So,
and honestly, don't even get me started on Tron. Like literally, I could talk like for an entire episode just about Tron. Like I am such a huge nerd for the original film, and I was so deeply disappointed by the follow up, which is a controversial take. I know, but
sometimes you just say the darndest things.
I know, right?
Wait until you
I
see
know.
what Morbius does to it. I'm sorry. The more I see of Tron Ares, it just looks awful.
So my
All
problem.
style, no substance.
Well, that's kind of how I felt about the last one, but anyway, we can talk about it later. Whatever.
Yeah. Well, and we are definitely going to get into Tron, the first one. But anyway, also, if you have not checked out the Liam Neeson, Pamela Anderson Naked Gun movie, it is out on digital and should be available on Paramount Plus here soon. And it is absolutely worth watching. So
The chemistry between Pamela Anderson and Liam Neeson, from what I've read online, was actually real, and they work so well together. And you know what? I'm happy for it. I'm here for it. It's awesome.
So, Chad, Brendan, have you guys had a chance to watch it yet?
Naked Gun? No, I have not.
I've acquired it. I've yet to watch it.
Okay, all right. Because the day I put it on my Plex server, I had to sort mailers, and I'm like, that's the movie I'm watching while I work, and it was just as good the second time around. So I hope they do get some sequels. So, all right, big gaming news this week at the time of this recording. Borderlands 4 has come out. So if you are a Borderlands nut, if you will love the games, even if you didn't like 3 as much as the first two, and Chad and I were talking about that before the podcast, I encourage you to dive into Borderlands 4. I have had a blast playing it all weekend and actually covered the release event at a GameStop where not only did I get to interview some of the developers, but the chief marketing strategist, Sean Ahern from Gearbox, excuse me, and just talking about how they came about making this game bigger and better. And it is it's first Borderlands game done on the Unreal 5 engine, which plays beautifully. It looks great. Obviously, it's built for the next gen consoles. So you can read a lot of my conversations with them in the article coming out. But what I would say, based on quoting them, everything that you love about Borderlands was put back into this game. Everything that people had kind of complained about with 3, they went back to the drawing board and they made it bigger, better, and more polished because of the Unreal 5 engine. And they got back to the love of, Borderlands. So, I was
going to say on Borderlands, it's personally, I always feel it's nice too when a title brings out a sequel and you actually feel like the money you're paying is is validated with what you get. In my opinion, so many sequels that I get for a lot of video games, just it's like you look at the price tag and then you look at what you get, and it's just like, oh, okay, but
Are you making a comment on Mass Effect 3?
yes, yes, I am.
I could drop about 50 games that fit that.
No
Yeah.
shit.
Because
Hell,
the AAA
yeah.
gaming space is in an absolute shithole right now.
Absolutely. So
And-
I think it's like a breath of fresh air that something that's good coming out that's worth it.
I have a bone to pick with Pritchford, though, that fat, sweaty bastard.
Mm.
Well, first of all, Gearbox is banned in my house anyway because of how they treated my wife during a job interview. So
Fair enough.
I will never purchase anything from them. But they optimize, so you can play this game on consoles, fine. But unless you're running a top 4 series or a 5 series graphics card on computer, you can't run this game. They did not optimize it at all. And Pitchford's response was, well, this is a premium game made for premium gamers.
There he goes again with that line.
Bro, shove it up your ass.
Go work for EA.
I tell you what, these gamer bros, these financial bros that run gaming companies are going to get a hard lesson when in a few years that no one can afford new gear because the countries where it's actually made won't sell it to us anymore, and they're actually going to have to make video games that'll run on whatever was made 5 or 6 years ago.
Well, that's actually to address that and a lot of other issues. That's why they're building 6 semiconductor plants here in Texas right now. Taiwan's moving a vast majority of their production to Texas because they're afraid of China invading. And so you've got the first one to come online will be actually up in Sherman. It's right on 75. It's TI's new facility. It's a $40 billion facility.
Jeez.
And it's going to start kicking out semiconductor chips here in I think like a month or 2. So,
well, despite Pritchard being a jackass, and here's the thing: gaming companies have jackasses for CEOs, but that doesn't mean that they don't put out good games. Now, we can easily tell him, "Go shut the fuck up. We don't care." But at the same time, Gearbox has put out some good, stuff. And I will say that if you were disappointed with Borderlands 3, totally understand. And being the third game on the same planet, it just felt very repetitive and too familiar and all that. So I totally get that. I have enjoyed this game very much so. I still think 2 is the best Borderlands game that they ever came out with, and I think 1 is really good. And I can't say for sure Borderlands 4 is better than those. Probably not, just from a nostalgia standpoint, but in a game that's more open world, that is built for the next gen consoles, that looks and plays amazing. I've had a lot of fun with it. So overall, I give the game an 8. And, if you're on the fence and you don't want to spend $70, look, it's going to be discounted in a couple of months around the holidays anyway. Pick it up then. That's how I look at it. But if you are a Borderlands fan and you love these games, then this one is certainly worth buying. That's kind of how I come down to it. But I also had a really fun time talking with the developers. I think from, my personal opinion, it's not so much about the CEO who doesn't do fucking shit and just says bullshit. It's really about those that work on the game, as a labor of love and put everything that they love about gaming into developing a game. And so it was really fun to talk with some of these developers, about changes they had made, really getting back to the core love of Borderlands that people loved in the first 2 games, and addressing the complaints that people had with 3. So for them, I'm very happy. Same way that with Ubisoft, we can tell management to go fuck off, but the developers who put their time and their soul into developing a game shouldn't be penalized. So anyway, that's my little stance on that. All right. We will definitely get into more games. We've got some big ones coming out. As you can tell, Brendan is very excited about the Outer Worlds 2.
Well, my excitement's been getting a little less because of some of the things that have been coming out. Hopefully it's still good, but we'll see.
Well,
my most anticipated game is easily The Expanse: Osiris Reborn.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. The Outer Worlds 2 is already a decent enough game to play because it'll be free on Game Pass.
I don't know. That wasn't true for me with Avowed. I got 8 hours into Avowed, and that was enough.
I completely understand. But again, you didn't have to pay for it. We always look on the bright side. Cue theme song. Anyway, all right. So that's enough about games, and we will certainly talk a lot more about what our favorites are going to be. I know the one game that we're all not really that excited for, could care less about, Call of Duty.
Jeez.
Okay.
Can you believe they turned down Steven Spielberg to make a movie?
Yeah.
They turned down the guy that made Saving Private Ryan to make a war movie. Are you stupid? If I was him, I would have gone right across the street to EA and say, "Hey, I'd like to make a Battlefield movie."
Yeah, I know. But
Well, make a Medal of Honor movie since he
Yeah.
was responsible for that franchise in the first place.
Pretty much, yeah.
my point is, it's like, how many Black Ops games are we gonna keep making? We can't even name the Modern Warfares the right way. The Modern Warfare 1, the reboot, is really just 4.
To quote Deadpool, to answer your question, I'll quote Deadpool. Till he's 90.
Till you're 90.
Look, at the end of the day, I mean, we're just going back to the same conversation we just had, like, what was it, 5 minutes ago? It's, cranking out these sequels that we just don't care about, these money-making machines, and they are not giving us anything that's worth what they cost.
No,
And they hide everything behind microtransaction
paywalls
stores and
shit,
pay
yeah.
to win. And
only console the new Call of Duty is it'll be free on Game Pass.
Well, the thing is like, even in games like Modern Warfare, I mean, you're right. Everything is microtransactions. And it's nickel and diming us to death. If you want that kind of stuff, you can play the game for free, sure. And a lot of, like, for Modern Warfare, the things that you buy they don't help you, play the game. But honestly, it's like a gambling addiction that's preying on, like, kids and stuff like that. It's like, it's all just
matter of fact, the
kind of scummy.
EU spanked Electronic Arts over that.
Yep.
Oh, well, Blizzard also got spanked over it too because of their loot boxes that they had in Overwatch, which is why they don't have loot boxes anymore.
Yeah, the lawyer for EA actually stood up in the EU court and said, "Oh, they're not slot machines. They're surprise mechanics, and they're totally ethical." He actually used the words "totally ethical." If I was EA, I would have fired that lawyer right there.
Hey, I applaud that man for saying that with a straight face and a court of law.
I tell you, I wouldn't want to play poker against him, but I wouldn't want him as my lawyer.
Well, at some point, it's like, when does a villain become too evil or not evil enough to where you don't want to support them? Like, there is a middle ground. When does he get to be the villain that people actually root for in a movie?
Yeah, right. Well, Omri and I were talking about this not too long ago about Call of Duty, that Vanguard is actually one of our favorite games. Because they went back to World War II with kind of a special ops group, and you get to play each person's individual story in a different part of the World War II theater. And it was great coming back together. But the way that the game ended, with them taking down, the final weapon of the Third Reich, and Nazis were escaping, I'm like, you've literally set yourself up for a great Cold War Call of Duty game, where it's these same characters hunting down Nazis who got away across the globe, in the 40s and the 50s. Okay. Where, I mean, how cathartic is that game? It's like,
it could have been a whole Argentina campaign.
Exactly. I mean, oh well.
Would have sold like hotcakes in Britain.
I'd play it.
They love invading the Argentine.
Yeah, see, and the thing is like you could like get extra points or something like that for capturing sheep.
That was a bad reference.
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna need that womp.
You got it.
Thank you.
Oh shit! No, you know what? I should have done that first.
Hey, we're not above giving historical references.
No, I'm sorry. From now on though, I prefer a rim shot. Just FYI.
Okay.
All right. Well, anyway, we'll definitely be talking more about some of the games that are coming out. I think the big one that's really on most of our list is the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, the Ghost of Yotai, which is coming out in a few weeks.
Without a
And
PS5, you don't. And I ain't got one.
Well, I've been replaying Ghost of Tsushima here this last week.
Yeah,
whenever I have some spare time.
Here and there. I totally get it. I know you're gonna have to get a PS5, but you can actually find really good deals on them now. I just bought another one for under 300 to complete all the upgrade on my equipment for my gaming company. So even pawn shops are starting to get them less than 300 now with the disc.
Shoot,
So,
I've been putting so much money into this friggin' home theater thing. I'm going to be lucky to afford the Mortal Kombat collection at this point. That's the one I'm looking forward to.
Speaking of PS5s, I was watching a YouTube video the other day, and this guy bought one for like $280 off of Facebook Marketplace. It came with 2 controllers. People are definitely starting to shed, especially the earlier versions of it.
yeah, you can certainly find deals like that out there. I mean, that's the thing about gaming consoles. Once they start coming out like the second version or like the pro version or whatever, the prices drop and you have this overabundance of stuff. And
like I said, the time I'm going to get my Switch 2.
Yeah,
Everybody, as soon as the OLED screen drops,
yeah,
which Nintendo, screw you. You put an OLED screen in the first one, and then you drop the second one without an OLED screen. You bastards are just as bad as Activision.
Well, I'll say this: the good thing about the Switch 2 coming out, it made the Switch 1 drop, in games and stuff like that. So Mario Kart, Smash Bros. You don't really need the Switch 2 to play those most popular games. The last 2 Zelda games still play on the Switch 1. I mean, it's like I love the Switch 2. Chad and I were talking about it, and it is a great console, but you're just not there with all the games yet. So
I do love when you see deals come up on Facebook Marketplace, and it's because some kid has done something really, really stupid, and to teach him his lesson, his parents are selling their system super cheap.
I have taken advantage of that numerous times.
It's just like you
Yeah,
just
but
want to
they
hit 'em
normally
with
need yours. No, they normally need bail money, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Here's the best story. Real quick, I will segue. Yes, one of the PS5s. Actually 2 of them I bought because family had to go bail a family member out of prison or out of jail. They had it. They were both drug related, so they had more than just some legal THC. I've
actually a line from a country song called "White Trash Story."
Yes, one of the Xboxes I got was actually the Gears of War anniversary thing of Xbox One. Kid got his driver's license, and 2 weeks later, literally got his first speeding ticket, and mom made him sell his console to pay.
Damn.
It's like, but
opportunity.
And when you can't pay rent and you've got to do that, I was like, I take advantage of it. I've actually put ads out there. If you can't pay rent and you need to sell your console, here's my number.
Get the hell out of here.
I'm off that. I'm like, I mean, I'm sorry, but if you need, hey, your loss is my gain.
No, so what you do is you join all the parent groups and then you put an ad out that says, teach your kid a lesson, sell me this console.
By the way, Ultimate Gaming Events does birthday parties.
And then you can have the song "Fuck Them Kids" in the background, like on loop. Fuck them kids.
No Vaseline.
Yeah, just really take advantage of like the pissed off parents.
Why? Because fuck them. That's why.
That's
Fuck
there
them.
you
That's
go.
why.
Well, unfortunately I have already pissed off 2 parents this weekend. Literally the day yesterday, I had 2 parents call me around noon and 1 p.m. asking if I could bring inflatable screens at the last minute for something. And I was like, no, sorry, booked, already got plans. And well, we just weren't really thinking about it. And we decided to go. I'm like, you can't try to book someone the day of an event and it's like, I'm sorry, that doesn't work that way.
Let me share a pearl of wisdom that my chief shared with me. A lack of prior planning on your part does not constitute an emergency
on my part. Yep.
Exactly.
I've got that in my on my desk.
Well, one of these parents, look, we'll pay you $100. I'm like, you're not really enticing me. I started at 50. Anyway. All right.
Did I hear 1,000?
Wait a minute. You should be like $100 to do what? Is this on? Like, what do you want me to do once the screen's there? Because you still have to pay for that.
Yeah.
That just gets me there. All right, I brought the stuff. Aren't you going to set it up? No, you only paid me.
No. You only paid $100. Yeah.
That's just the Uber fee.
Oh, parents. So, all right. Sci-fi movies that transcended. Oh, sorry. Before we get there, we definitely have to talk about this week's On the Apocalypse.
Such a tease.
I know. I'm teasing the topic. So it was actually last week, and Senator John Kennedy, not that John Kennedy, but the another one in the family who's a Republican.
You don't say, Marcus.
Now, was it him or the renter in his head that was talking?
I think it was that one.
Chad. We are talking groups of people who think JFK Jr. didn't really die, and he's secretly going to come back.
This is true. This is true.
They're actually not related other than the last name, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Sorry. But anyway, I don't even know where he's a senator from.
Mississippi.
Oh, is it Mississippi?
Yeah, I just looked it up.
And it shows.
I didn't.
Yeah. So if anybody knows the story, the Walmart, their in-store brand is called Great Value, where you could get cheaper food products or whatever. And the Great Value frozen shrimp had to be recalled due to radiation poisoning.
That's a hell of a thing.
Yeah.
What did they do? Like run it through a doctor's office or something and get like the cobalt?
Right. But there was radiation and all that. So dear Senator Kennedy decided to talk about the issue, the Senate floor.
God help us. And
compared the radioactive frozen shrimp to Alien, the xenomorph from Alien, and that's what's going to happen to it. And if you eat it, then that's what can happen to you, is you will digest it and it will explode. Yes. He wasn't being funny. He wasn't joking around. This was an actual presentation on the U.S. Senate floor with diagrams from the movies, or pictures from the movies of the little shrimp, of what the radioactive shrimp will look like if you eat it. And it's the little guy that pops out of.
So this is a man who thinks that the movie Godzilla was actually a documentary.
Probably.
I just sent a picture to the group chat.
Most of Japan thinks it is.
This is not a doctored image that I just put in the group chat. This was his visual aid during this hearing.
If you
no joke.
Think about a still of the alien that pops out of John Hurt's
the chest burster.
Right, in the first movie.
Look at Jimmy.
The radiation. What's gonna happen?
You saw it, Jimmy? Did you see it?
Yes.
Honestly, if you're buying if you're buying shrimp from Walmart in the first place, there's probably a better than average chance
wasn't gonna
that
go
might
there.
actually happen.
I wasn't gonna go
I
there.
don't buy from. I mean, right. If that's actually happening with shrimp, I think we have bigger problems on Earth.
No shit.
Okay, it's time to call the Marines up on a bug hunt. Okay,
Yeah.
Is this a straight up fight, sir? Or
They
bug
arrive.
hunt?
They finally arrived from Clendathu.
See this, but this is proof why I could never. Besides the fact that I'm sure that I would be too controversial, but I could never be a politician because I couldn't sit in the audience and see this happening live before my eyes and not stand up and just really question like if that person was real. Because if we're worried about aliens, then the body snatchers are definitely pulling some shit on us right now, because this can't be a reality.
If I was in Congress, I would just have a like my little JBL speaker hooked up to YouTube all the time, and anytime somebody spoke, because inevitably, regardless of whether they have a D, R, or I after their name, they're saying something eminently stupid. And so every time somebody opened their mouth, I would just have that clip of Tom Hardy. I forget what what show it was. Maybe it was Peaky Blinders, whatever. But he just shouts at the cop, "Shut the fuck up, you cunt!" And I would just have that playing.
You know, I think FX is missing out on an opportunity here. They need to work this clip in of him talking about this into the promotional materials for Alien Earth.
I get it, but
They probably will.
They probably will.
How is it the first question to the senator, Senator Kennedy? You do know that movies are fictional, right? You are aware of that.
No, it should have been Senator Kennedy. What the fuck are you talking about? Sit
Yeah.
down, you.
And if he answers that he's not sure, then the next statement should be, can we plug him back into the Matrix?
Okay, hold up. I just had a brilliant idea, $1 million idea. We Red Lobster and FX Hulu partnership for ad campaign. You bring back the all you can eat shrimp, but you have to survive.
Call it Endless Aliens.
Yeah.
Hey, I now need to know, how much radiation does the shrimp need to have where it's singing and dancing across the table like in Spaceballs?
Like, yes, I'll take.
Well, I mean, if you go to
platter.
hibachi, if you go to a good hibachi, there's some good hibachi chefs that can make that happen. I've seen some hibachi chefs do some pretty awesome things with shrimp. I'm just saying.
The train is my
I'll
favorite.
take the xenomorph platter with extra slaw.
But anyway, it's very rarely that we actually bring politics into a nerd show.
We try to avoid it.
This one was too good. I'm sorry, but senators comparing radioactive shrimp to Alien.
We can't make this shit up.
Yeah,
that's probably the best. That's probably the best one since the guy from Georgia was worried about Guam flipping over.
What about that?
That
one was.
All right.
That was peak.
There was a theory that people would that the reason people didn't succeed or weren't smart enough was because of lack of information or lack of access to information. And the internet's been around long enough. We know that this is not true, because these are some dumb motherfuckers.
You were just born stupid and you stayed that way.
A simple Google search, even with the AI slop that's out there right now, would have solved all this.
Hey, we can't do that. Google is the leftist deep state.
Bro, you could have gone to Encyclopedia Britannica and gotten that one. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I think Ridley Scott ought to sue his ass personally.
Well,
I have some encyclopedias behind me that you can't see. They're from the 50s that I'm sure that would solve this problem too.
Yeah, just throw him upside his head.
If you've ever wondered, congressmen and senators who actually believe the Earth is flat, here's a shining example.
Oy, oy.
But anyway, it was a nice laugh, and us normal people who understand science know that this does not happen. And so there you go. Also, state of Mississippi.
One minor correction. He was born in Mississippi. He is a senator from Louisiana.
Oh, well.
That's what I
Yes,
thought. Okay,
he
you're right.
is a
But-
Louisiana senator, which honestly makes it even worse.
No
Because
shit.
if any state should know what fucking shrimp are capable of, it should be
Yeah.
Louisiana.
yeah,
They even had a
Shrimp stew,
character
shrimp
in
sandwich,
Forrest
shrimp.
Gump
yeah.
that
If
explained
this
this.
is making those claims about the shrimping industry out of Louisiana, that's ruining that's ruining the livelihood of Republicans
I
and
s-
Democrats.
I still want to
like,
know how shrimp got irradiated.
I don't know the full story. We
I'm
might
gonna
have
have to look that up.
Yeah.
The only thing that comes to mind is maybe they have a
Nuclear
way
power
to
plant or something?
sterilize, no, a way to sterilize or like kill a certain bacteria or something like that, which is like, that irradiates the shrimp, and maybe they didn't do enough to actually clean it up afterwards. That's the
Yeah.
only that's the logical part of my brain. But who knows? Maybe Homer Simpson's working there and dropped an isotope in the basket.
Or true. This is the plot for Call of Duty Black Ops 7, and they actually
Shit.
help promote.
Oh my God. No, it's District 9. It's District 9. That would have been the better movie than Alien for him to reference. They're even called prawns.
Apparently,
Hey.
the shipping containers had cesium-137 in them.
Okay. Well, all right.
So
Cool. Well, anyway, too good to be too good not to talk about for this week's Side of the this week's Side of the Apocalypse. So now we're going to get to the main topic at hand, and it is going to be sci-fi movies that transcended the genre. Other than Star Wars. Star Wars is too easy to talk about. They did a lot of great things. Really exploded the idea of summer blockbusters, and Lucas with ILM and the effect shots, we get it. But I don't know. But I will also say this: that as great as Star Wars is, we are the hero stories are very familiar. They are classic mythology just told in a sci-fi genre, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there are other movies that had such a brilliant concept that despite what the sequels did, it just really transcended sci-fi storytelling and how we make movies. And that's kind of what we're going to get into a little bit today. And the movies that are still great today. So I'm going to start off with what I feel like is kind of the first one that really transcended, that moved us out of B science fiction type movies. And I'm going to start with 2001: A Space Odyssey.
I kind of figured that's where you were going.
yeah,
Well, I mean, you think about sci-fi movies before then I mean, what is it? Forbidden Planet.
Them,
Yeah.
the creature features.
yeah,
The one with Leslie Nielsen where they, shrink you down, and
Oh, Fantastic Voyage.
Fantastic Voyage. Yes.
Don't forget the Cat from Outer Space. Yeah.
But I mean, if you talk about great practical effects, pacing, and the first time that we're really dealing with like a supercomputer that's learning and in an alien race, so just all of these concepts that are kind of brought together in this phenomenal film that still is gorgeous to watch. Now, I also preface that with the sci-fi part, not the 10-minute stupid opening scene of monkeys learning and throwing shit in the air, which I skip every time.
Not literal shit. Just
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Marcus. I'll turn in my film critic card here, but I absolutely hate that movie. It's literally like if hell exists and I'm there, that's on the playlist.
Jimmy, we love your
can't.
brother, and you're allowed to be wrong on this podcast.
No, I'm not saying it didn't transcend the genre. I didn't say it didn't change sci-fi.
Okay.
I'm saying it's fucking unwatchable, though. For
Really?
me, it's fucking unwatchable.
Okay.
It is so slow. It
I-
is so
I
just
concur.
painful to watch. It's
I concur with
painful.
Jimmy.
I
It's
might
the
be
entire, no, the entire movie.
Okay.
The entire movie is like the first 10 minutes of the first Star Trek movie. You're just floating in slow motion around a spaceship, and I can't stand it. I can't do it. And what's crazy is I had this conversation yesterday about the same movie because we were having a discussion about Stanley Kubrick, and I was like, the more I keep watching The Shining, and it's like the more I watch it, the more I'm like, I'm not sure if this is actually a good movie. And then we start talking about, and then I'm still on the fence on it. But then we start talking about 2001: A Space Odyssey. I'm just like, no, kill me now,
So what
right in the face.
want to do next? Shit on Spartacus?
Well, I mean, if you'll let me.
Oh,
How much you willing to pay him, Marcus?
$100.
Thank you, Brendan.
All right, I will.
Actually, you
admit-
know what? No.
For those watching are totally confused right now why that was so funny, it relates to something we talked about off camera.
yeah, inside little joke there.
And Marcus, look,
the
I will
applause.
say, devil's advocate in your defense, 2001: A Space Odyssey is considered the #1 all-time sci-fi movie, of the last 150 sci-fi movies made.
I don't think that.
I will say this. I don't mind it as much as you guys do. I enjoyed it. However, I will agree with you that Kubrick is probably the most overrated director of all time, and he is high on his own. He was high on his own farts. I mean, that dude was sniffing his own shit. Let's be honest. Full Metal Jacket is a tale of two movies, and the only reason why the first half is any good is because Kubrick made the best decision of his career in firing the DI actor and letting R. Lee Ermey be a DI.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and that, and D'Onofrio, being Pyle. Really brilliant casting choices. If by accident, whatever. Dude, this was part of my conversation yesterday. I literally said those exact same words. It's two different movies, and it needs a better transition.
If the boot camp part of Full Metal Jacket had just gone right into Platoon, it'd have been the best Vietnam movie ever made.
Sure. And I'm sorry, Clockwork Orange. I can leave it.
It has its moments. It has
its moments, but it's not for me.
Oh, we're diverting way off the point.
Yeah, sorry. It's all sci-fi.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I could argue Kubrick for an hour, but that's like arguing his movies in a college film class. Is it movies that you're going to go back and watch over and over? No. I like The Shining. I love Spartacus. The movie that really kind of, made him, because he wrote Path to Glory. Dr. Strangelove, really funny movie.
I just rewatched that one again, just 2 weeks ago. That one is still one of my favorites, and topical. It's good.
Right. All directors are hit and miss. I do not think 2001: A Space Odyssey is the greatest sci-fi movie ever. No, not by a long shot. This is why I think it is brilliant. I think because of the practical effects, the use of classical music, which, was a great way to get around having to pay an orchestra to record something original, and it fits. The performances are great. And again, you're dealing with, kind of first contact, what an alien race trying to understand humanity and all of these things. Now, I will also admit that Star Trek, through their series and movies, took that theme and made and told better stories. But for transcending a genre, for creating something that's so spectacular that inspires future filmmakers like George Lucas, who will make Star Wars with great practical effects, that's why I do it.
You got to give it credit because it did become art. That's whenever sci-fi stopped being schlocky and became more artistic.
Right, and I loved the sequel, 2010.
I think that's a better film, actually. I think it's an easier watch.
I actually agree.
Side note about the practical effects. The practical effects director that did the spinning shot in 2001: Space Odyssey is the one who invented that technique for the dancing scene, the dancing on the walls scene.
He did the gimbal effect is what they call it.
Yeah, he did the spinning room effect, and that was also later used in Inception or whatever. But he invented it in the what is that actor's name?
Fred Astaire. Fred Astaire.
Fred Astaire. Yeah, invented it for him so he could dance on the walls, and then he also used it in 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the only reason I bring up that movie is a good place to start. And
Well, you
again,
can't do a list like this and not put it on it, whether you like it or not, because it did transcend the genre.
right.
Yeah.
When we think about movies with supercomputers making decisions, what's the first movie that we usually go to? War Games. But there's 2001: A Space Odyssey and the HAL 9000. And
Hal crawled so Whopper could run.
right. Also, the funniest comment about the HAL 9000 is the Robin Williams movie Man of the Year, where the voting machines mess up, and he makes the comment, Hal decided he liked me. Like and that that's not in the script. That's just Robin Williams being Robin Williams.
Of course.
I don't think that actually ever wrote any dialogue from him that said, "This is the scene. Just do whatever you do."
They gave him an outline, so just get from here to here.
I'm pretty sure that's literally how half his dialogue for the movie Aladdin was.
Oh yeah,
they just let him go off and then had to write around it.
Gene Hackman said it best in acting with him in The Birdcage. Yeah, it's like acting with someone with legalized insanity.
Yeah, I mean, Mark Harmon told a story about meeting him on the Rich Eisen show.
Yes,
and it was back in the day, and he was coming to pick up Mark Harmon's wife, who was Mindy and Mork and Mindy. Yeah, and he's like, yeah, he came over and he just started like rattling off 36 questions because I was doing some work around the house, and he goes, and he's at wanting answers, and I'm like, Robin, I'm still 34 questions ago.
Yeah. All right, so that's my first pick out of the list. I had about like 5, and so I just wanted to start with that. So, Chad, I'm going to take it to you. Whether it's the first one or the last one or off your list. We're not really necessarily going in order because I feel like we're all going to pick kind of the same movies. We're just going to get to what we think are the best.
Well, the one, oh God, this film does something to me every time I watch it. It has become it has become something that's very personal as far as a connection to my wife goes. It came out the year that we met. And she's actually got a nickname for me that ties into this film. But Jimmy, you can lower your guard. I know you're about to freaking But 1982's Blade Runner is, I think, I know some people put it on a higher pedestal. Some people put it on a lower pedestal because they don't get it. I can't get through the Tears in Rain speech without choking up every time I hear it. And just the question of mortality and creation, and you put it in this setting that doesn't even look like it would fit or work. I mean, you take a crime noir thriller and you wrap it in this futuristic world that feels so incredibly tangible. Like you could feel like you could walk into it. And the fact that it took place it's set in 2019, I think is kind of fucking funny. Yeah. But there is so much to be dazzled by in that film. And here I was, all of 13 years old watching this thing and watching it just go zooming over people twice, 3 times my age as heads. And I'm just fascinated by it. The year after Raiders of the Lost Ark and the year after Empire Strikes Back, watching Harrison Ford establish himself as this icon, this action icon, and he does this where he kind of pulls back a little bit and it becomes more of a character study of the people around him. But then by the end of it, it becomes a character study about him too. And there's just so many layers to this thing that I'm in awe of it every time I watch it. I adore that fucking film.
It's my second favorite. I'd like my second favorite on my top 5. You know, I went on a Philip K. Dick tangent when I was in college and read most of his books. I read the one that the Man in the High Castle it's based off of, and what Blade Runner is based off of, and it was one of those moments where I was like, I'm really getting into sci-fi, and I went through Asimov and Clark and all this stuff. What amazes me about this movie is, again, outside of supercomputers, we hadn't really dealt with anything um, except for Alien, like a sentient being,
Mhm.
like trying to figure out their purpose, uh, going back to their creator. Those themes have kind of been explored, but an actual sentient being that wasn't necessarily like an android, that was something created, and then do they really have that? And what's amazing, I always talk about that the best allegorical episode of Star Trek, The Next Generation, is the one in season two, The Measure of a Man, where they put Data on trial to determine whether he's the property of Starfleet and they can experiment on him, or he is actually sentient and has his own identity. And it's just phenomenal episode. And that I look at those themes in what Blade Runner is, because the replicants aren't bad. They're creative. They're
Mhm.
trying to figure out what their purpose is.
Jessica
And,
Rabbit, they're not bad. They're just built that way.
yeah, in a society that basically wants to use them as slaves.
Mhm.
You know, and then you have Decker who has to hunt them down as a duty, but falls in love. And then you're still left questioning at the end, is he actually a replicant?
Mhm.
Is he not? So um that there's just so much going into that movie. And yes, obviously the Ridley Scott cut is the final cut is the best way to look at it. Um, that I mean, I again, I just don't think there was anything that had really come before it, and I don't think the android Bishop in Alien is the same thing as the replicants in Blade Runner. So, and just anyway, that's my 2 cents
No,
on.
I I agree with you. I mean, one of the things I've always loved the first Blade Runner movie as well, and one of the reasons why is it's you put on Star Wars or you put on this movie, that movie, and it's always like yeah, like a lot of sci-fi movies are always doing thrills. Blade Runner kind of is doing the drama and is still exciting, but it's just so much more emotional. And for
Yeah,
a sci-fi movie to be actually emotional in like a proper cinematic way,
yeah,
I mean, there's just not much in that category. It stands pretty well on its own
yeah,
for doing what it does, and it does it so well.
yeah.
And it forces you to think. It forces you to feel. It's it's such a remarkable piece of
Well, you
filmmaking.
feel I mean, the sympathy you feel throughout the movie for the replicants, you know, um, as you learn more and more about them, and you start to see how they view everything or how they adjust to life, especially when Decker is questioning Rachel, and she doesn't realize it. Um, that's what's interesting too is I'm drawing a blank on the actress's name who played
John
Rachel.
Young, John Young.
Anya, thank you. She was up for Marion in Raiders of the Lost Ark. She was the one that did the screen test with Tom Selleck,
Hmm.
uh, which is really great. And I think she would have made, a really good Marion. But it also makes me look, it's like, I don't know. I think it's better. She's better with Harrison Ford in this movie, So, Brendan, what is your take on Blade Runner?
So my take on Blade Runner is going to be very disappointing for all of you.
I was afraid of
Um,
this.
There's always got to be one.
I don't hate it. I just don't love it either because, and the reason why I don't is I never got to see it in the theater, first of all. And then when I did get to watch it, growing up in the 80s and 90s, I only got to watch snippets of it here and there. on like television or whenever it came on. So I never, and I didn't get a chance until my 20s to like actually sit down and watch the whole movie. And then by the time I did, there was like 18 different versions, and everybody who's a fan of it has their version that they think is the correct version. And so I had 4 or 5 friends who really loved it, but all really loved different versions of it. And I was just like, I just need to know which one I'm supposed to watch. And they couldn't decide. And I finally sat down and watched one, and I'm like, it's good, but like I guess all of this nonsense in 20 years of having it built up, it just
That's yeah. You
I mean,
Yeah.
I could
got
see-
done a disservice that way.
yeah. So I'm
actually weak for you because you didn't get to experience it the way you should have.
so yeah. So it's just yeah. It like I said, I don't hate it. It just didn't do anything for me.
Well, I will agree that seeing it on the big screen, like Jaws, makes the movie 10 times better. And I've only seen it once and whatnot, but yeah. So here's a question related to this movie. Do you think the sequel holds up to the original? Do you think it's as good, or do you think the sequel just sucks?
Who
Well,
you
hurts
asking?
feelings.
Who are you
No,
asking?
I know you and Chad love the sequel.
No,
Oh no, okay. Well, then it's just Marcus.
I don't necessarily. No.
Look,
I don't necessarily love the sequel. I've only seen it once, and
Okay.
I kept getting
I've seen it a few
distracted throughout
times.
the whole thing, and I feel like I owe it to myself to really commit to a full
Yes, you do.
Okay.
viewing of it, because I know my wife did see it all the way through, and she didn't care for it, and she loves Blade Runner as much as I do.
All right. Here's how I feel about it. Like, I like the original. I feel like the sequel tells a good story. It's a decent movie on its own, but I feel like it's definitely coming home at the end of the day and waiting in his car to smell its own farts before it goes inside. It's a little bit too much about itself, in my opinion. Like, it's maybe there's just kind of like trying to live up to the hype, or maybe trying to bring itself up to the same level as the original, or something. I just feel like it suffers a little bit.
See, I don't disagree about trying to live up to the sequel, and I think that's a hard task. But Denis Villeneuve has proven himself as a master of making great sci-fi. I think the movie is damn near perfect because of the themes that they're exploring, the hidden, and a little bit of a spoiler if you haven't watched the movie and you're listening to this podcast, Ryan Gosling's replicant, trying to figure out who he is and stuff. I love the idea that you take those themes from the original one, and now it's, what if the miracle happens that you can have a child, and how that will break society. I think that's brilliant. And it leads more into whether Deckard was a replicant or not. I love the last scene when you realize it's not Ryan Gosling and Harrison Ford is going to meet his daughter, and I even love the pacing. So it's one of those that I can watch like no matter what. I think it's beautiful and stylish. And is it as good as the original? No, not at all. But I think it's a very worthy sequel. I think Denis Villeneuve does as much as he can in a movie to live up to the original that's so iconic. So
Yeah, to me it looked. I know, like, they tried very hard to have the same aesthetic and everything in that movie. I do feel like they missed the mark, though. The first movie, it's like night all the time. It's a film noir. I feel like they missed the film noir part in the sequel. Which is part of the charm
I can see
of,
that. I mean,
that.
Yeah. Really, kind of my favorite thing was the little cameo about Edward James Olmos as he's trying to find Deckard. I think that there's a lot of love for the original. That they lived up to the same way that I don't think Tron Legacy is as good as Tron, but I think it's a worthy sequel and stuff. So, Brendan, did you ever see the Blade Runner 2049?
No, having no emotional connection to the first one, I didn't even bother to go. Also, although from the trailers, I will kind of agree with Jimmy on that about the fact that it wasn't at night and it wasn't the film noir. Also, that the fact that everything looked, I don't know if it was like this throughout the whole movie, but it looked like everything was filmed with this red filter on it. And
I think that's
he was
more of a
practicing
product of the time when that movie came out.
He was practicing
Um,
for filming Arrakis, I think.
Yeah, well,
yeah, because I mean,
a lot of movies in that era seem to do a lot. There was a lot of kind of shading everything.
well, it just is like I'm sorry, am I supposed to be watching Blade Runner or Mission to Mars? Like it just I don't know that visually that turned me off when I saw the trailers. But
Fans,
yeah, I didn't really have any emotional connection to it, so it was just
So-
kind of no point.
fans, if you couldn't guess already, we're very picky.
We like what we like, and we like it why we like it.
But I totally get that. Some things I think can be like forgiven. It's like it's not great, but it's still fun. And like I don't think The Fifth Element is gonna change sci-fi forever, but it's just a damn fun movie.
It's on my list.
Yeah,
It's one I will always stop and watch if it's on TV.
exactly.
I mean, I literally start feeling I have an entire page full of when you first told us that we were going to have this discussion. I literally have a page, and Fifth Element is like right over here with a little heart by it.
Hey, it's a great movie. I don't think it does anything different than other sci-fi movies, but if you're just wanting a really fun sci-fi movie with action and great comedy, and Chris Tucker steals that movie. Really does.
They would have loved to have seen who they had to pick for that part originally.
Who was originally picked for that
Oh,
part?
take a wild guess why I'm bringing it up. I'll give you a hint. He was on the Diamonds and Pearls tour, and that's why he couldn't do it.
Wanted Prince?
Luc Besson wanted
Oh.
Prince to play that part.
Okay.
And that's why Prince couldn't commit to it. Look it
Okay.
up. Look it up.
I believe you.
I don't see it. I don't see it.
They've got sketches that Jean-Paul Gaultier was doing of the wardrobe for Prince. He goes, yeah, I dig this, but I just can't.
I'd have to like see a screen test to be. It's like we know that Harrison Ford is the iconic Indiana Jones. We're so used to that. But if you watch Tom Selleck's screen test with Sean Young, you're like, God, he actually would have been a good Indiana Jones.
Here's my thing with Prince. If you look at it now, knowing that, you can almost see Chris Tucker playing it as a caricature of Prince.
You know he did.
But Prince would actually be Prince, not a caricature. And I don't think the actual Prince taking it seriously would have matched the rest of the tone of the movie.
I also don't think Prince. I mean, I'm not saying he didn't have the acting chops or anything else like that, but I'm not sure if Prince would have the presence that Chris Tucker brought to the film comedically.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is like because he was playing it as a caricature of Prince. There was that comedy and that tone and that whimsical nature that fits with the rest of the movie.
I mean,
if you got Prince there and he's kind of more of a straight, but flamboyant. I don't know that works. I don't know. Maybe.
I have to see screen test. That's how I come down it. But I do love the Fifth Element. All right, Jimmy. Since we took Fifth Element off the list or whatever, what is a movie on your list that we haven't talked about yet?
Well, I mean, you all. I mean, I'm sure you all can guess which one came out in
We're gonna-
1979.
Okay.
Huh? No, it came out in 1979.
Alien.
Literally like a one of a kind. It's going to be Alien. Because I am the ultimate fanboy. It's like my favorite
All right, but
series ever.
I have, I have to ask: is Alien a horror movie or is it science fiction?
Of course,
Yes.
it's science fiction. It's big time science fiction.
Why not both?
And
Think
again,
about Forbidden Planet literally created that genre of horror science fiction.
I don't know about
You know?
that. I'd go a lot further back than that.
With my question.
Frankenstein, to me, kind of created that genre.
Oh, of course, it's science and horror. So, but here's the deal. For me, Alien is always it's my go-to. It's one of like, those core memory type movies where I'm like, this is a cool, awesome looking film
Yeah.
with great acting, great writing, great direction, and I'm watching it and it's still scary in a good way. It's not jump scares all the time. It doesn't rely on cheap tricks, and it looks good, and it's done in such a way where I can watch it today. If I had someone who had never seen it before, never heard of it, I don't know how this would happen, but some pod person, I could bring them in and have them watch that movie and it would hold up.
Mhm.
And it's completely unlike almost any other because of the grittiness of the movie. And it's the blue collar space horror film because you've got these workers, these like dock workers in space who are doing drudgery type stuff. And it's like, it sucks. And we don't have to stop. We're not getting paid for this crap. And they're getting pulled into this horror show,
Literally.
because the rich pricks, back on base are making them. It is. You don't get that. Star Wars came out like 5 years earlier. 2001: Space Odyssey came out in 1968, and I can't think of other movies. While yes, Alien has a supercomputer mother in it, and it has an android in it, so you could say Westworld, and you could say 2001: Space Odyssey, but it's not the same. It's just the whole package together is very, very unique, and yeah, I
I always argue about pacing when I do reviews. The pacing is perfect. It slowly draws you in like a proper horror movie. It's even when you feel like it's kind of being slow. I mean, you're already when they're going down on the planet and they're looking around, you're like, oh my God, what are they doing? It's already days. Like we've watched horror movies before. We know what's about to happen, and
The dread is building, like from
you're
the
like
first
trying
beat.
will what you already know into the movie screen and tell them, no, don't do it.
Or-
Don't.
when the guy slips down and he sees the egg pods, right? I mean, everyone's immediately like, oh, he's fucked. And it's that moment. And like nothing good is about to happen.
Right. But then, when he comes back and he seems to be well, and you're like, oh, well, that was kind of short-lived. And then, boom.
Bam.
Mhm.
Had there ever even been a scene like that in a movie before where they just pops out of your stomach and it's just blood? The greatness about that scene is Ridley Scott didn't even tell the cast about the blood effects. That's all like natural reactions.
Yeah, Veronica Cartwright caught that blood spurt right in the face, and that was not planned. And her reaction is 100% genuine. She's like, ah!
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of any other sci-fi or horror movie that really kind of did a similar thing, and I can't off the top of my head. I mean, unless you go strictly horror movie like Friday the 13th or something like that, I
No,
can't.
but I mean, like before.
Oh, yeah, no, you're talking before Alien.
Yeah, I'm talking about before that.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't
hell,
know. I mean, if you
Friday
talk
was after Alien, though. Friday was like the year after. I think that was. I
Was
think
it?
the first Friday was in 1980.
Okay.
just the actual practical effects of everything they did. I mean, the acid dripping down, just it. This is why I say it is more of a horror film. I get it's sci-fi, but it's like, I mean, it's the greatest tagline too. Nobody can hear you scream
In space, no one can hear you scream. Yeah.
So
Well, and
I
on top of that, they actually hired someone who made scary looking characters with Geiger and
Geiger.
really changed the look of scary sci-fi forever.
yeah.
I mean, you really want to think about it. I would go so far as to say even The Matrix in 1999 is influenced, if you go all the way back, like the entire goth and everything else is literally like in some small way
Right.
influenced by that.
I will say this. Sure, story of Brendan and I being professionals. Uh, this is the only time that there was ever a press screening like fucking early in the morning. It was 8 o'clock in the morning. Brendan and I saw Prometheus. And that was like a night after drinking at the pub.
Oh,
8 o'clock,
Christ.
3D. And I mean,
Worst headache I've ever had in my life.
I know.
3D movie and a hangover.
We
You muddle 'em.
walked out of there like, could we have just watched the original Alien? That would have been so much better this early.
Like
Yeah,
I would take
I don't
Alien,
look.
Aliens 2. I would have taken Predator, any type of alien movie over that.
I know.
Especially
Look,
at 8 in the morning.
Prometheus and the next one.
Covenant.
Those two movies where Ridley Scott came back and took the reins and everything.
Took a giant dump on his legacy.
Yeah, you know me. I'm the ultimate fanboy, right? And those movies disappoint me so much. I would rather watch Aliens 4 with the Ripley hybrid space baby. You know, I would rather watch that all day long than either one of those movies because they not only are they boring, in my opinion, they're stupid. The movies aren't supposed to be stupid.
You know,
They detract from the lore that we've had
read
established.
that and, well, first of all, we vowed no more fucking early press screenings like that ever again. Fuck off. If we'll start at least like at 11, and also no more fucking 3D bullshit. The last 3D press screening that we did was Avatar, the last Avatar movie, and the only way we got with it, sponsored by Hippie Grandma Brownies and our buddy Daniel. Because his brownie kicked in about the first hour. So the last 2 hours were just magical lights and euphoria and like, yay!
Honestly, that's the only way to watch Avatar.
I
But
agree.
yeah, like look, 3D. I get it was a fad, but like if you're not going to do Star Trek holodecks, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with 2D until I get Star Trek holodecks. Okay, when we have a holodeck and we can go participate in the movie and be an X-wing pilot, cool. Until then, I do not care. Not going to see through. I'll stick with IMAX. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Honestly, the
format
biggest
you have to have.
argument. Sorry. Honestly, the biggest argument I ever got into with one of my former editors, who was like the nicest guy ever, but he just was in love with the movie Avatar. And I was just like, I can't stay. Like, I'm sorry, I'm going to hurt your feelings. The movie's stupid. And I was like, it's cowboys and Indians in space, and the 3D. It's
Gully in space.
He was the reason he got so pissed off at me, I said, the only reason you like this movie is because it's in 3D. And it's the reason why you like that tiger in the boat movie. And
Oh my
God.
Yeah, he did not like that response, and
Well,
there
facts
was
hurt
yelling.
people sometimes.
Yeah. Hey, if you like Avatar, good for you. I like it when it was Dances with Wolves. And by the way, shout out to Graham Greene, one of the greatest Native American actors who did pass away this past week. Yeah, I mean that's all Avatar is, and like you're not breaking any new ground. I mentioned before this podcast, since it was brought up, there is one way that Avatar transcended the genre of sci-fi. Not in storytelling, not at all. All you did was rip off of other movies. The motion capture technology that James Cameron came up with to do those movies, brilliant. What
And the
you
3D and like his 3D cameras were a breakthrough. Like it's basically
Yeah.
a techno. It's basically a tech demo.
Mhm.
The
yeah,
whole movie.
what you've been able to do here, here are the movies that benefited from that. Tron Legacy with a young Flynn, which was brilliant. Captain America, the first Avenger, you know, putting Chris Evans's face on a 90-pound short guy. You gave us great technology for other movies that are way better. That's your legacy. But there is no reason to keep going back and watching these movies. So the only other props that I have is apparently Kate Winslet broke the record of holding her breath underwater and beat Tom Cruise when she did the sequel movie. And that came about and it became this fun little rivalry between them. And I'm like, that's cool. But that's the only good thing about your fucking movie. I mean, whatever.
Well, and unfortunately, though, we're probably going to have these movies keep coming out forever because, like, he apparently shot so much film, he just keeps recutting it and making new movies. I mean, when the last Avatar sequel came out, one of the actresses said, "I forgot I even I thought that just wasn't getting
Wait, the
made."
colonel, like I
Yeah,
forgot he did that.
yeah,
Yeah, he's gonna do 5 of them.
Yeah.
Because we really
And
needed Fern Gully 2 through 6.
yeah. I mean, they're going to come out. He's going to like keel over from a heart attack, and they're going to come out posthumously. And
Till you're 90.
yeah,
You know what? I'd rather watch the next few Ice Age movies that are apparently being made at this point. I mean,
I will say the good thing about it is he has further funded his submarine fleet money. So,
hey, awesome.
yeah.
Just make sure you
Kudos
use
for
actual
you.
power tools to tighten all the bolts. So we don't want
Right.
a second implosion.
Don't
Right.
use a PlayStation controller for a
Brendan,
steering device.
I'm going to segue to something, but I want to go to Brendan first. Do you have a movie on your list?
Yeah. And I'm gonna stick with sci-fi horror because I generally don't get frightened by horror movies. Most of the time I think they're pretty funny. And this movie scared the living shit out of me. And that's Event Horizon.
Oh, cool.
I love Event Horizon because it was able to scare the shit out of me. And because Sam Neill is so diabolical in it. And he's one of those guys where he's like a kind old uncle or now like a grandfather, because he's a bit older, and you just don't expect him to be the villain. And then when he is, it's cold and dark and damn, he's got some issues somewhere that he uses because he's really good at it. And
let's not forget he's adult Damien in the Omen movies.
yeah.
Well, so here's the deal. He's actually on my list of like some of my best sci-fi movies, like 3 or 4 times, because he was also in Jurassic Park. He was also in The Mouth of Madness. And don't forget the vampire movie.
The scene where he freaks out on the bus in the Mouth of Madness.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah,
it's like, did I ever tell you my favorite color was blue? It was just so good.
But yeah, he's really, really good. And, opposite Lawrence Fishburne, the whole idea of, faster than light travel by bending space-time and then going somewhere you probably shouldn't have gone. Was it hell? Was it just a really messed up dimension where everything's, like Warhammer 40K? Who knows? They pretty much went to the warp. I just thought it was awesome. And there was just enough humor sprinkled in too. Like, hey, you want something hot and black inside of you? No, thank you. Okay, well, how about some coffee? So
and peak Lawrence Fishburne too, because that movie came out in 97, 98.
Think so. Yeah, I think it was 97.
Right before The Matrix. It was
97. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely one of my top tier favorite movies.
Because I think I saw this in Pensacola before I shipped out to May 7th. So yeah, I would have been in Pensacola, Florida when that came out. So,
Well, Event Horizon doesn't get enough credit. It really doesn't as a movie.
or August, okay.
But I'm glad that somebody put it on their list. Now, we're going to continue talking a little bit, but I do want to at least announce. I think it's been. I think clearly we have so many great sci-fi movies transcended the genre. We're going to have to do a second podcast about this.
Oh yeah.
stuff.
I mean,
So with
I have
that
so many
said,
honorable mentions here.
yeah. So with that said, we're not actually going to talk about Tron for the rest of this podcast because we're going to connect it to when we actually talk about the Tron movies later on and then get into other similar movies. But yeah, I'm just kind of looking at the time. I'm like, there's two movies I really kind of want to get to more than anything else. And I know there's so many that we can talk to that's like, we're going to have to do a podcast part two. But at least one thing, it's not going to be one big complaint session because Disney and Star Wars fucked up again or something else. It's just movies that we love that everybody should watch. And, if you're a young film critic out there, you're just getting into wanting, really exploring movies. This is a podcast you need to listen to. I know the North Texas Film Critics Association, which Jimmy and I are part of. We've got some new younger members. Like, this is how we school you. These are the movies that stand the test of time. All right. So I'm going to segue because James Cameron was a perfect segue into a movie on my list that I know we're all going to talk about. We've complained about Avatar that it's pointless and there's no reason for this movie. But there is one sci-fi movie that absolutely transcended the genre. And it is 1984, The Terminator, with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Linda Hamilton, and Michael Biehn. Never had there been a story about really going back in time and trying to change the future so much by killing someone. Star Trek had dealt with time travel, but a diabolical plot that to ruin a whole resistance movement, you send a killer machine back in time to kill the mother. Never had been there a story like that. And it was so kind of unique and fantastic that, wait, I'm sorry, there's going to be a war, AI is going to rise up, and it's going to be humanity against machines, and then there's time travel. All of these concepts blended together to make this phenomenal chase movie, and that's all it is. It's a chase movie. You have all this stuff going on, and you're basically just making we're just bad guy's going to chase the good guy as he's trying to save the girl, and not ruin the future of the world. And it's set in a very gritty, kind of dark and dirty 1980s Los Angeles.
And basically what they did is they took the Sound of Thunder from Ray Bradbury and they put a really dark spin on it. And instead of going back in the future, they, instead of somebody from the present going back to the past, like in A Sound of Thunder and, seeing dinosaurs and stepping on the butterfly, they had it where it's a villain from the future came to our time.
Yeah.
To change our future. And it wasn't a butterfly. You're trying to kill a woman who hasn't even gotten pregnant yet. So
and that brings up so many good like fan theory-esque like issues too, because it's like, did John knowingly send his father back, or did John send a soldier back who accidentally became his father? It's like it's so good. Like the whole world building aspect around that movie is so good, and the fact that Arnold Schwarzenegger has like 20 lines or something like that is like also just epic.
And they actually contacted him because they wanted him to play Kyle Reese, and he was like, no, I want to play the Terminator.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, at that time, 1984, that's a doubly smart move for him. Number one, because it just made him larger than life to the masses, not just to people who knew him from bodybuilding or Conan, but also wasn't quite there yet with his speaking. And so to be able to do 20 lines instead of 200,
Yeah.
probably a good
and,
thing.
and considering the guy they wanted to play that role got kind of turned away, the studio balked at it because, oh no, we could never believe that this guy would be a villain.
Who was it?
O.J. Simpson.
Yeah.
Oops.
Orenthal James Simpson was supposed to be the Terminator.
By the
No,
way,
he's too nice of a guy. I'm like,
Which also, I mean,
I'm sorry, but
that's hilarious now. But
Yeah.
but also there, casting, I mean, even in 1984, casting the black guy as the villain for a guy who sounds like he's not. I'm not saying he is, but a guy who sounds like he could have been in the Nazi army.
just his grandfather, not
Yeah,
him.
Yeah.
So that probably wouldn't have been the best optics even in 1984.
somehow I think the "fuck you asshole" would have been a little bit different.
By the
Yeah.
way,
Man,
All right,
fuck
so-
you.
they're
Hold
all
on.
paying tribute to their dads, and the one cop gets to OJ like,
Mm-mm.
Oh yeah, no, that was a great and the fact they only did one callback really, and that was it is actually kind of perfect in the new Naked Gun movie. But
yeah.
so one of the things too that I will agree that Terminator is so great for is it gave us one of the rare opportunities to have a sequel that's better than the original
Wow.
and also should be on this list of a sci-fi movie that kind of changed I mean,
Well,
To me,
Terminator 2
Cameron
Judgment
peaked
Day
with T2.
is so good.
Hey, I totally get it. Just rewatched it because I put all the Terminators, the good ones, on my Plex server. Terminator Genesis, which we did go see that movie, and like, that was another like, what the fuck did we just watch moment. And actually, I like Dark Fate, but Terminator Salvation, Christian Bale, you're awesome. You've done a lot of great things. But there was no purpose for that movie either. Anyway, I agree. Sequel is way better. Having Arnold play the Terminator, but as a good guy who's kind of learning in these.
Oh, and after he actually learned how to become a good actor, I mean, he had been a good actor for a minute now. Yeah.
And also,
Was it 1996?
I think that it was 96, and I think that was Cameron at the peak of his powers.
Mm.
Terminator. No, that's 90. That's 91.
Yeah, Terminator 2 is 91.
Okay. I thought it was later than that.
No.
Yeah, I did too.
It's so good.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is 91. How about that? Okay.
All right.
Lies is 90.
Stand corrected.
No, True Lies is 94. I don't know why I'm thinking 92.
Yeah, True Lies. I knew it was 94 because that was I saw that on Martha's Vineyard. Believe it or not.
I will say I'm also surprised. I was just looking up Conan the Barbarian actually came out in 82, which was 2 years before the Terminator movie. And it's one of my favorite fantasy movies. It's the reason why I asked you in the beginning. Are we including fantasy at all? Because I was going to say Conan the Barbarian.
That's a whole nother topic that we can talk about. But Chad, I got to ask you: was Terminator one of the movies you saw in the theater?
Yep.
Really?
Yep. But the only movie that we have discussed on this list that I didn't see in the theater was 2001 because it came out before I was born.
Okay. All right. Just so we're talking about Dallas and stuff like that. What famous Dallas theater did you see Terminator?
It wasn't a famous Dallas theater. It was the UA Town East 6, which is which no longer exists. It's an Aldi's now.
Okay, gotcha. So just Mesquite Mall Theater. Gotcha.
You can't watch movies there, but you can buy your snacks for it.
Yeah. Same place I saw Star Trek 2, Temple of Doom, E.T.
That was a Gross Point Blank shout out if anybody missed that.
That was nice.
Great way. I was just having a conversation about the best John Cusack movies with our gaming editor Omri, who was complaining about John Cusack. I'm like, first of all, he's made a lot of great movies.
A lot of great movies.
Yeah. High Fidelity is obviously at the top, and it started out as a Peter Gabriel conversation, like why is Sledgehammer not as popular? I'm like, because Say Anything in Your Eyes, it made that song overly popular. But if you haven't seen Gross Point Blank,
So good. And
That-
well, and also the fact is, John Cusack was in one of my favorite horror movies too, 1408 with Samuel L.
1408.
Jackson. That movie slaps hard, and it is so. And it's actually based off a Stephen King like short story. It's really good.
Also, and he's in
Really
my
good.
favorite Nick Cage being Nick Cage.
Thank you!
Michael Bay, Con Air.
Or do you want me to draw it in
Yes,
crayon,
yeah.
like usual? I fucking
he's-
love him in that.
He's been known to be somewhat garrulous in the company of thieves. Garrulous? How about loquacious, verbose, chatty? What's with dictionary boy over here? I think thesaurus boy would be more appropriate.
I love him in that fucking movie.
We're talking about action movies that transcended the genre. Just the cast in that movie is phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
Quote about that movie is Simon Pegg in the movie How to Win Friends and Alienate People, where he's the entertainment writer for the magazine. He talks about Con Air being the greatest movie ever. You have comedy, you have action, big explosions. John Cusack for the gays.
And from what I hear, he was coked out of his head for that entire
Right,
shoot.
right.
Hardcore.
And rightly
coked
so.
out.
Yeah, great movie with Dave Chappelle. So I mean,
It smells like someone shit in your mouth. I thought you loved me. It's just so many good lines. It's just so many good lines.
I forgot how great that movie is, man.
Yes.
Hey, do you guys remember a boxing Brit named Ricky Hatton?
What?
Ricky
Rings
Hatton.
a-
He was a boxer out of Britain.
Rings a bell.
Yeah, he used he was world champion in welterweight division. He was found dead today, 46 years old.
Oh,
That's crazy.
Well, anyway, Terminator, still one of the greatest movies ever made. This is the peak of James Cameron before he started making really goofy movies like Avatar and stuff. It has definitely spurned on some great sequels. Like, I don't hate Terminator 3. I don't think it's a bad movie. It's not a great one compared. It's hard to make a third movie coming after Terminator 2. And I actually really liked Dark Fate. But obviously the first two Terminator movies are the best, and you're just never going to be able to top that.
I got the same vibe from Terminator 3 I got from Alien 3, sadly.
Look, I could talk about Alien 3 like a lot. I actually really love that movie, but regardless, okay. What I was going to say though is that the Terminator movie also gave us the opportunity to have Bill Paxton be killed by Terminator and then later killed by Predator and and the aliens being like one of the only actors to be killed by all three of the
Like
best.
he is the only actor to be
80s.
killed by all three.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
So-
Not anymore.
Oh, who got it? Who got it now?
If you watch the animated film Predator Killer of Killers,
Yep.
the
Mhm.
pilot in that thing in the last segment is Michael Biehn.
Oh, okay.
Okay, interesting. All right, might have to go check that out.
Y'all haven't watched that yet?
I have, but I thought they made a serious mistake by doing that last segment. I thought the first 4 segments where they were just the anthology were great, and then when they
Mhm.
brought them all together to fight together, I just thought that was dumb. I thought they should have left them as 4 separate stories.
Haven't had a chance to watch it compared to everything else that having to watch.
It's worth your time. It's worth your time.
I concur that the first 4 stories are fantastic.
So, last thing I want to say about Terminator, and then we're going to get to a movie that I know was all on our list to close out this particular podcast. But the time travel aspects and how you get into the possible futures. And I love Michael Biehn's line in there when he's trying to explain to her and all that it's one possible
future. Yeah.
Oh, we don't really think about time travel and branching off until Back to the Future, part 2.
The next year. Well,
Right.
yeah.
Not
The year
Brown,
next year. Yeah.
right. But Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor talking about where she's recording the stuff for John that knowing that he's your dad, will you still make the same decision? I mean, somebody could go mad thinking about this. You do kind of create different realities. That doesn't mean you should make a movie out of it, Terminator Genesis, but I have a great appreciation for the Sarah Connor Chronicles TV series.
Absolutely.
Loved it. Thought it was very well done. Summer Glau, two of my
There's nothing wrong with a hot Terminator.
no,
I'm just going to put that out there. I don't care what anyone else says.
no.
Yeah.
She was great.
Honestly, it's the Terminator we need.
Yeah. And Brian Austin Green, who, didn't really, I mean, obviously we're not the demographic for Beverly Hills 90210, but he was great in that series too, as Cal Reese's brother. They did a tremendous job, and I wish they had continued with it, considering it the way that it ended.
Yeah, it's the Summer Glau curse.
Poor girl.
She was on like 6 shows in a row where, like, as soon as she came on, boom, gets canceled.
Well,
We did get
which
the
is
movie
sad
Serenity,
because-
though, and the movie Serenity was pretty damn good.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
great.
no, it
It's
is.
on my list. Yeah.
Hey, and we'll get into that, but here's a question for everybody. How many, for our fans out there, and we'll circle back around another podcast, how many of you saw Serenity first before you actually saw the Firefly series? Yeah, didn't know anything. I was in, Brendan, you were still in the Navy. I was in the Army. Didn't know anything about Firefly.
I hadn't
I was in a
all of-
constant drunken stupor in Washington State working as a journalist.
I hadn't watched all of Firefly before I saw Serenity. I had seen a couple of episodes. And the only reason I didn't see more is because Fox put it in the Friday night death slot.
Yeah.
So the only time I saw it is like if I had a swing shift on a Friday and then I had another swing shift on a Saturday and I wasn't going out Friday night. So I caught maybe like 2 or 3 episodes. And then of course they aired them all out of order and Fox did Fox things and destroyed the show. But
Yeah.
I didn't have cable as a poor college student for like 5 or 6, maybe even 7 years. So there's no way I was ever going to see it,
Right.
And the only reason I saw Serenity is because it was a movie.
Right. Well, absolutely. That's another topic that we can, get into. This year isn't this year the 20th anniversary of Serenity? Came out in 2005, right?
I think so.
And we're off to the races.
We might need a
Uh,
Google machine for that.
Google, you suck.
Yes, 2005.
Okay. Well, 20th anniversary. All right.
Oh, I'm sorry. One last thing. I know we're going to talk about this more in the next podcast, but this is also the anniversary, of course, of Rocky Horror Picture Show,
Yep.
which was going to be my second pick for sci-fi movies that changed the genre, because it is a sci-fi movie.
Oh,
And
it
it
is.
actually changed the genre, and this is the 50th anniversary, so definitely merits at least an honorable mention.
Best story about that movie, real quick, is actually interviewing Barry Bostwick at the Dallas Film Festival when he got to us and I said who we were. He's like, some people think I'm a nerd because I was in this movie called Rocky Horror Picture Show. Have you seen it?
Almighty.
It's like, and Chloe was with me and she's like, yes, many times. I'm a musical nerd. It was just, it's one of the greatest interviews that we've ever done that went so off the wall that I didn't even really cut anything. I just threw it up there. The movie he was promoting didn't even matter. It was just talking to him and talking about Rocky Horror and all that. But anyway, and it is something that we should definitely talk about. All right.
They're doing a 4K steelbook release on my birthday this year, and the cover looks great.
Nice.
Speaking of steelbooks, Erin found the T2 steelbook at I think half price books for like $8 or something like that. So she snagged it.
Man, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. The last movie we're going to talk about in part 1, The Matrix. We got to talk about The Matrix. Now, we're not going to dive into Matrix 2 and 3. There's really no point. It completes a story. But we're talking about the movie that really transcended a genre. It was new. It was groundbreaking. It
had the best video game tie-in of any movie of the last 30, 40 years.
Yes, very true. CGI still stands up today. Everything that they did with this movie and it's also one of Lawrence Fishburne's greatest movies.
Peak Lawrence Fishburne, absolutely.
This is one I actually did get to see in the theater, and I was like blown away. I think I saw it 2 or 3 times in the midst of seeing like episode 1 like a dozen times.
Yeah, I did. What was I going to say? It also introduced American audiences to Hugo Weaving.
Yes, absolutely.
Who has been now an absolute mainstay of American cinema for the last 25 years.
That's true. Greatest villains and phenomenal actor, fantasy actor and stuff, Elrond. But again, we talk about sci-fi movies that had such groundbreaking concepts that you never thought about. And The Matrix, human beings being plugged into a computer simulation, and that to truly be free, you have to break out, and how they grow human beings. Just the scene of Lawrence Fishburne talking about endless rows of, homegrown babies, and he just says it like so eloquently that it's frightening. We dealt with sentient beings, supercomputers. There's not even really much about the war itself because they don't know much about it. It's just them breaking free from this and fighting basically a computer simulation, and the concepts of what is the one, what is the one that's going to change and all that. I mean, it's absolutely just so fucking amazing as a movie today. And for everybody that complains that Keanu Reeves can't really act, I'm like, he can.
But he acts like Neo, which is fine with me,
So, Chad, did you see this one on the big screen?
While we're on the subject of steel books, first DVD I ever owned.
Yes.
And I, like you, amongst these, amidst the summer of episode 1, I went and saw this thing probably 5 times.
Yeah.
It was one of the most mind-blowing examples of cinema I'd seen in a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, it was such a breath of fresh air. It felt like it kind of felt like the Blade Runner of the 90s, where you had these themes that were kind of a carryover from Blade Runner.
Yeah.
That it felt like it kind of existed in that same world, or in that same universe anyway. And I don't know anybody that saw this film the year that it came out that wasn't completely transfixed by it. Nobody walked out saying, well, that movie, like that. I did talk to people that saw Blade Runner that said that didn't make any fucking sense to me. But everybody that I talked to that saw The Matrix that summer was like, Jesus Christ, when can we go see that again?
Yeah. No,
the scene in the foyer of the building when they go to rescue
Morpheus,
and he's got 20 guns on him.
20 guns.
That scene was awesome. And then
right as he steps to the metal detector, he just opens his coat and
holy shit. And then because the great thing about the guard saying "holy shit" is he was also the voice of the audience, because we were all saying the same thing.
Yeah.
And then every guy in America got an instant crush on Carrie-Anne Moss when she did the one-handed cartwheel and picked up the M16. And it was just like everybody was like,
Yeah, that movie was so full of oh shit moments. I'll lose count.
I don't think guys had been so attractive to a woman in black leather since Michelle Pfeiffer and Batman Returns.
That's 100% facts.
Well, as a 15-year-old, I can only be so erect. So there's only,
Bitch,
so much you can say.
As a 15-year-old, please.
As a 15-year-old, good Lord, if I was 15 and saw that,
diamonds at 15. What are you talking about?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It was like couldn't get any better. No,
I
wore relaxed fit jeans and they still would have been uncomfortably tight.
I will say this too.
Tiny whiteys.
One of the things The Matrix did too, that so many other movies just fail miserably at, is that literally it's a movie about a overbearing artificial intelligence, and it's done correctly. Even the latest, Oh man, so many movies that are doing like what was the last movie that was doing like the oh, I'm sorry, the Tom Cruise Mission Impossible movie where we had to fight against this. Come on. We know how this is done in a good way. The Matrix did it. The Matrix did it perfect. So many movies get like fighting a artificial intelligence so badly, but the Matrix did it just like chef's kiss. I can't think of many other movies that did it better.
Well, again, getting back to the point of nobody knows the board. I mean, they don't know their own history. They just know that it happened. They just know that there is this machine. You don't even really get into who was the first one to break free, who knew the truth or whatever. And then, we watch this first movie, you're like, well, he is the one. He's the one that's going to truly break. And then you get to the second one, it's like, oh, there's been more concepts of the one. It's really the machine coming back time and time again to try to fool them that they really have, and they have freedom, that they have a chance and stuff. Again, I'm not even going to get into, I don't hate the other two movies, not at all. They're just not as good as the first one. And
3.
do what?
There's 3 sequels, not just 2.
Yeah, I'm not acknowledging that.
Well, you have to. if you're gonna, I mean, if you're gonna
Honestly,
throw shade on the other 2, you got to throw shade on the
I
last
didn't hate
one.
it that bad. It's just like, okay, we didn't really need to do this.
We did not know. We did not need resurrections, but it does exist.
Yeah, I mean, Carrie Ann Moss getting to fly around and be a badass, sure, I will go see that. But that first one, no. I love the memes, and as far as take the red pill, the blue pill, and the concept too that some people life is so horrible that you just want to plug back in and not have to deal with it. That's why, like Sorensen, from Star Trek Generations, like you sympathize with that guy. I get it. You just want to go back and avoid real life and be lost in this thing that leaves you happy. So, but yeah, anyway. Chad, what is your favorite, or what do you think is the best part of the Matrix?
Oh God, best part of the Matrix? God, that's way too tough of a question to answer. I mean, because there is so much. I mean, as far as you mean a particular scene or an aspect of the film itself.
Anything.
I mean, just
talking about.
like the just hell, the fight choreography, the fucking, the bullet time, and just it's set a standard that it's been copied and parodied, and like everybody wanted to be the next Matrix after that film came out. It's like there's too much great things to say about that film, about questioning what is real and what is not. And oh Lord. And actually, one of my favorite moments is whenever Joey Pants is talking to freaking Hugo Weaving, and I don't want to remember nothing. It's just,
and he put the hard G on that nothing
as he's cutting into that steak and shit, and then I want to be somebody important. And I love how he said, like an actor. Like, really, Joey? Really? Okay. Really selective there.
To me, kind of the brilliant thing was the lines of code in the way they did that.
Yeah.
And to show you what like deja vu was, or what they, and the only way to avoid, which is hilarious as a kind of a concept, to avoid AI, was the old analog phones.
Mm-hmm.
How it wasn't connected. And it's very reminiscent of Battlestar Galactica, how the Galactica survives because it's analog. It's not connected into anything. And you still have like these kind of traditional phones for a futuristic. I always thought that was cool. So
I just hate that the Wachowskis couldn't have been more consistent, because they've got such a fantastic visual style, but they can't write a consistent through line to their own narrative.
Well, here's a question. Do you feel like they never thought they would be able to do a sequel
Well,
to the Matrix.
so I was just fixing to say that.
Go ahead.
So what I had read was that they did not know that they were going to get that this was going to work and they were going to get a sequel at all. So they put a lot of elements from future parts of the story all into the Matrix. And so it kind of ruined sequels that were coming.
So,
Um,
so you're
from
saying
the-
studio interference fucked up another potentially
well,
great
just
creation?
the unknown. No, they just didn't know. They didn't know they were going to get a second Matrix movie. So they're like, "Look, we got shoot or shot now."
Yeah,
And
that's what
let's
I'm
just
saying.
tell
No,
it.
they had to fast track it, so they didn't get the time to
Yeah.
flesh out their own story.
Yeah.
I'm just
So
like,
the second movie and the third movie were just never going to be as good as they could have been because a lot of answers to questions that we should have been asking in those movies had been answered in the first movie already.
It's a
So
less
it-
extreme version of what happened to Highlander.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the first Matrix movie, I mean, if you never had any sequels, stands alone. It would still be a great concept.
Oh no, 100%. It 100% stands on its own 2 feet. They did a great job, but I think that's like to y'all's point. It's like I wish they had been a little bit more consistent. I just think that maybe they had one good story in them, and they shot the shot, and I mean, maybe they shouldn't have gone back for more money, but who can blame them? You
Yeah.
know, it's like everyone
how do you
wants
say
the
no to
paycheck.
that? Yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
But-
I almost feel like the only way that you could really explore more of the story is introducing new characters in the world that you have built. You've done the world building that's necessary for the Matrix. Neo has become a legend. This movie is, you could have other characters pop in, okay? But then you kind of jump into the future that there is a new resistance, that it's still happening. There's different ways, but you're introducing something that goes beyond just this particular story. It is what it is. It sets you off for future world building, but that's it. And then you can concentrate on other elements with new characters.
Is it remotely possible for any of you guys to not get a raging nerd boner every time you hear Rage Against the Machines Wake Up?
Oh, yeah.
Christ almighty. Every time I just,
I
see
will
him
say-
walking slow-mo, walking out that
See,
phone
this
booth
is
and
another reason when I was offered an interview with Tom Morello and I had to turn down, they're like, you only have 5 minutes. There's too many things I want to talk about as a nerd with Tom Morello. I've got to have at least 20. The Matrix song is on my list. He's a nerd.
Oh,
I'm
man.
a nerd. Anyway, yeah, I did
But
have that happen once last year, and I'm like, dude, and that's just us nerding out. We haven't even gotten to baseball yet because we're both from Illinois and Cubs fans.
There you go.
5 fucking minute interview.
The fact that I think the Morello brothers also ran into the Superman problem because he became too powerful in the first movie. They ran to the Superman problem. It's like how do you make Superman an interesting character when nothing really can kill him? So you have to make him weaker, and it weakens the whole plot of the rest of the movies because you have to manufacture ways, right?
Yeah.
When that shouldn't have been a problem if they hadn't had to basically make him Superman from the get.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's the trilogy itself is a great way to kind of wrap up that story. I think the last movie was very unnecessary, but I mean, it was kind of fun to revisit that world. Neil Patrick Harris did a great job. But too many times directors want to go back to the franchises that made them famous, Ridley Scott and Alien. And it's like you can't capture magic in the same magic. It just isn't going to happen. Move on. Okay. But if we didn't have any other Matrix movies and that was the one movie, I don't think we would need anything and be like, this is still just damn near perfect. You did everything right as a filmmaker with this movie. And there is a world that you have kind of built where, you can still come back. I feel the same way with Blade Runner. We didn't necessarily need a sequel. We don't need a series that's coming out. But, at least you created a world. If you want to revisit it, it's just never going to be as good. Is my point. So, Brendan, did you see this one? on the big screen too?
What, the Matrix movies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All three of them. Yeah. Well, three of them.
Still haven't gotten around to watch that last one.
Well, I was like, man, I want to believe. I'm like Fox Mulder. I want to believe. But I'm a big trust but verify kind of guy. And
Yeah.
when you guys went to see it and you were like, I said, maybe I'll pass.
Brendan's like, I want to be Mulder, but in this situation, I'm Scully. So,
Like I said, I want to believe. I just don't.
Am I the only one who wanted to be Scully from the get-go? Is that weird?
Jim, done. Anyway, The Matrix is the final movie that we're talking about in this part one of our podcast. And, even today, 26 years later, it doesn't, it's still not, it's actually number one on my list. I can watch it any day of the week personally and never get tired of it. I always feel like I discover something kind of new or something that I had forgotten by watching the movie. And again, the CGI or just the graphics is still absolutely amazing. So
that helicopter crash is just a goosebump roller
The
coaster.
ripple in the glass.
Mhm.
It's like the fact that he sees it is just it's so good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't that like the last smash cut in the trailer was Trinity
Also,
bouncing
all right,
into the
I'll
building?
tell you my favorite part of that movie. Before the Oracle will talk to him, he has to accept her cookies. That is the greatest nerd joke on the planet.
Yeah, that's
so
deep.
few people I know caught it. And it's just like, yeah, in order to talk to the computer program, he had to accept cookies. So good, and nobody gets it.
The Wachowskis at the height of like just great storytelling. I mean, Bound is a good movie, don't get me wrong. And I still watch V for Vendetta every year on November 5th. But
I remember when they did Ninja Assassin and they couldn't get the script right, so they called J. Michael Straczynski of Babylon 5, and he locked himself in a room and redid their entire script in 72 hours over a weekend.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, you applaud.
I'm trying to comprehend how much like weight of drugs that take. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, anyway, The Matrix is still one of the greatest sci-fi movies, and the concept of, AI, as Jimmy said, getting it right when it comes to AI, in just everything about it. So, if you're a fan, you have not seen this movie, and obviously, if you're a fan of us or you're a nerd, and you probably have. If you haven't, go see this movie immediately.
It's actually showing at the Cosm right now.
Oh, that's the one where it's like
the Sphere in Vegas, but it's here in
You're
the
inside the Sphere.
Yeah, it's stone's throw from you, isn't it, Brendan?
Yeah, it's just down the road in the Colony. It's in Grandscape.
I haven't actually done. I mean, I'm not. Well, I say complaining about a $50 movie ticket is. I mean, it's $50 is way out, but considering what some of these, like the 3D screening of the new Tron movie is like 26. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ.
God.
Yeah.
So I mean, good. That might be worth the experience. I will admit. So
I think if any movie's out there, I think
I thought it was funny. Paul Tassi of Forbes put out an article, and he's like, and just going off of the high prices, he goes, 800 million's the new billion in movie theaters, and it's like, no, Paul, because of inflation, 800 the million is the new 500 million. That's how inflation works, Paul.
Yeah.
It's like, try to stop trying to shill for the movie studios because they didn't hit $1 billion. They should have hit $1 billion easier with the increase in price.
Hey, you know how you can hit $1 billion? Write better movies.
Mm-hmm.
Ding, 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 ding. Circle gets the square.
Hey, by the way, I mean, not even the new Superman movie got to $1 billion.
I
So
don't even think it got to 800 million. I think it topped out in 700 million. I think.
a little over 600, I think, is what it got internationally. Whatever. Um, sorry,
You are correct.
I don't think James Gunn is going to get to that point of, like we're talking Infinity War movie money. But anyway, we shall see.
I
All
think
right.
those days are probably gone for across the board because of how they've so quickly moved everything to streaming. They've completely collapsed the post theatrical revenue stream. I think movie studios have really shot themselves in the foot in a big way. And we could do an entire show on that, though, so I won't go down that rabbit hole.
No, that is very true. Some movies need to quickly get to streaming. But yeah, some, I mean, some are worth seeing multiple times. Top Gun Maverick. Hey, God, was Top Gun Maverick the last one to really actually have a long stay in the movie theaters?
Deadpool.
Yeah.
Deadpool. Well, probably. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but those are the last two, I would think. I don't remember anything getting up close to $1 billion since those two.
I bet if The Matrix was released today, it'd hit $1 billion. Because
Who knows?
been a lot of great stuff that compares to just how awesome it was to see The Matrix back in 1999. So, all right, everybody, we're going to close this out. These are just some of the movies that have transcended the genre. Clearly, we have more. And yes, we definitely have to talk about Tron and nerd out about the first Tron movie, but we're going to wait so we can talk about all of the Tron movies. And we're going to see if Brendan is right and if Tron Ares just isn't worth our time.
To be fair, I hope I'm wrong. But when your two big points are we've got Jared Leto in the lead and the soundtrack was by Nine Inch Nails, which, hey, that's great. I love Nine Inch Nails. They're awesome. But you're not leading with the story is going to be awesome. You're not leading. I'm a little worried. Just a little bit.
Well, we're going to
go
find
into a
out.
steakhouse and it's like, bet the fries are great.
Awesome. Hey, how about the shrimp with the steak? Is it from Walmart? Is it great value?
Only if you want to glow in the dark, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Things that we have to ask now at a steakhouse.
Soylent Green is people.
Oh my God. Hey, Brendan's just teasing movies that I did actually have on my list. There are some great classic sci-fi movies. I will say this, the best part of Soylent Green was the SNL skit of Phil Hartman having to say the famous line over and over back in the late 80s. Okay. Well, anyway, back when SNL was good.
Yeah. We've forgotten about all that.
I know. I will say this about SNL. The last time I really, no, hold on. The last time I really enjoyed SNL, it wasn't actually watching new stuff. When OJ passed away, you can find all the compilations of Norm Macdonald from Weekend Update just shit
Lord.
OJ for like 20 minutes. That's what I did after they announced his passing. I'm like, yes. And then, of course, Tim Meadows, who always portrayed OJ in skits, like trying to carry about it. The best one, though, is when he got to go back to be a football announcer and Will Ferrell is Mark Levy of the Bills, but he's wearing the black glove while he's doing announcing. And he's trying to show how the play works.
Doing the telestrator and it says, I did it.
I will say, Isotoner had a chance to do the funniest thing ever.
God.
Anyway.
Remember the old Dan Marino Isotoner commercials?
Yep.
Yes.
These are killer gloves.
Wow.
These do fit.
Kind of makes me want to watch Ace Ventura.
Oh, damn, I'm terrible. I'm sorry.
At that. Hey, we never said, fans, that we weren't going to hell. Whatever that is. All right.
Apparently, I'm driving the bus.
Well, apparently 2001 Space Odyssey is going to be playing when I get there.
That's going to be your special torture.
It's going to be all those. It's going to be that person that didn't like what you had to say, telling you why it was great the whole time.
They're gonna hear that music swell in the background, and then
There's literally going to be a monkey like beating me over the head with a femur bone.
I don't like the movie as much as like me or anything. Maybe the greatest thing from 2001 A Space Odyssey is coming out with the greatest practical joke. Remember a few years ago when monoliths started popping up in public places?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kudos to whoever was doing that. That's awesome. Well done, sir. All right. We'll be back in a few weeks with more nerd topics and stuff that's going on, and part 2 of our sci-fi movies that transcended a genre. Movies that we can definitely go back and watch compared to some of the shit movies that we've had to watch as professionals. So, all right. One movie that will not be on that list is Nicolas Cage in the Left Behind movie.
Jesus God.
He wasn't in that movie.
Yeah, those are those kinds of movies where you have to tell yourself, I'm a professional. I have to kind of get through this. All right.
What should have been left behind were the cameras.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Don't worry, folks. You don't need to go watch that movie. Just watch.
I do love though how Nicolas Cage can go all in on the shittiest movie ever.
Yes. Man, you got to pay off your debt somehow. All right.
I love that man. He's hilarious.
With that said, it is time to say goodbye, everybody.